You're listening to Just a Dude podcast with your host, Nathan. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular dude bringing you the biggest stories from the past week in the good old US of A. It's July 4th, 2025, and what a day to be an American. Before we dive into the top 10 news stories from June 27th to July 4th, let's take a moment to celebrate Independence Day. Today we honor the grit and courage of our founding fathers who signed the Declaration of Independence back in 1776, telling the world we're a free nation under God, built on liberty and individual rights. It's a day for backyard barbecues, flags waving high, and remembering why we fight to keep this country free. So grab a cold one, kick back, and let's get into the news that's been shaking things up this week. All right, let's kick things off with a massive win for America. Last week, President Trump announced at a NATO summit that U.S. strikes completely obliterated Iran's nuclear program, and folks, official government reports are backing him up. The UN and other intelligence systems, including some from our allies, are confirming Iran's nuclear capabilities are toast. This is a huge deal. Trump promised to take a hard line, and he delivered. No more pussyfooting around with a regime that's been threatening us and our allies for years. These strikes targeted Iran's most fortified nuclear sites, and the intel's saying it's a total knockout. We're talking years of their work reduced to rubble. Conservatives are calling this a master stroke, and I'm inclined to agree. Iran's been a bad actor forever, and this sends a clear message. America's not messing around. The left's grumbling, of course, saying it escalates tensions, but what's the alternative? Let Iran build nukes and hold the world hostage? Nah, I'm with Trump on this one. Hit hard, hit fast, keep them guessing. The Senate tried to throw a wrench in things with a resolution to limit Trump's military moves without their approval, but Republicans shut it down, thank goodness. We need a president who can act decisively, not one bogged down by red tape. This victory shows what a strong America can do when we're not afraid to flex our muscle. Iran's going to have to start from scratch, and that's a win for freedom everywhere. As we celebrate the 4th of July, this story is a perfect reminder of why we cherish our independence. Our founders stood up to tyranny, and today we're doing the same by crushing threats like Iran's nuclear ambitions. Light a firework for American strength, folks. This is what keeping the world safe looks like. Next up, huge news out of Washington, D.C. House Republicans, joined by the Senate, passed President Trump's big, beautiful tax cut and spending bill on July 3rd, and it's headed to his desk for a signature. Word is Trump's expected to sign it today around 5 p.m. Eastern, just in time for the 4th of July fireworks. Lower taxes, less government waste. This is the America First agenda that people voted for, and it's music to my ears. The left's whining about cuts to their pet programs, but our national debt's a disaster, and it's time to get serious. This bill's a game changer. It's packed with tax breaks for working families and businesses, which is exactly what we need to keep the economy roaring. The stock market's already celebrating. S&P 500 and NASDAQ hit record highs last week at 6,173 and 20,273 respectively. That's real money for real Americans, not just Wall Street. Some fiscal hawks were worried about the debt, but the bill's focus on cutting bloated programs balances things out. This is about putting more cash in your pocket, not funding endless government handouts. The Senate parliamentarian tried to derail parts of the bill, but Trump's team powered through. Both chambers came together, and now it's ready for the president's pen. The left's calling it a giveaway to the rich, but that's just their usual class warfare nonsense. This bill's about growth, jobs, and giving Americans a break. Trump signing it today will be a 4th of July gift to the entire nation. On this Independence Day, this story really hits home. Our founders fought against oppressive taxes, and today we're fighting for a government that lets us keep what we earn. Here's to Trump signing that bill and keeping the American dream alive. The Supreme Court dropped some big decisions last week, and one's got everyone talking: birthright citizenship. They're tackling nationwide injunctions on this hot-button issue, and conservatives are cheering. Look, I'm all for legal immigration, I really am, but the idea that anyone can cross the border, have a kid, and boom, automatic citizenship? That's been exploited for way too long. The court's looking at tightening this up, and it's about time. Trump's been vocal about ending birthright citizenship by executive order, though his lawyers say no immediate deportations are planned while judges sort it out. Good call. Let's do this by the book. The left screaming about fairness, but what's fair about rewarding illegal border crossings? Our laws should prioritize Americans first, plain and simple. This issue's a legal minefield. The 14th Amendment's at the center, and both sides are digging in. Conservatives argue it wasn't meant to cover kids of non-citizens, while progressives say it's a sacred right. The court's ruling could reshape immigration policy for decades to come, and I'm hoping it leans towards common sense. Protect our borders, reward those who play by the rules. As we fire up the grills this 4th of July, let's remember our independence means controlling our own destiny, including who gets to call this country home. Our founders built a nation for citizens, not for anyone who sneaks across the line. Here's to a ruling that keeps America first. Big news on the economic front. The U.S. and China agreed to a framework for a trade deal last week. After years of tariffs and tensions, this could be a step toward leveling the playing field. Trump's been hammering China on trade forever, and it looks like his tough talk's paying off. Nobody's saying it's a done deal, but a framework's a start, and I'm all for bringing jobs back to American soil. China's been eating our lunch for too long. Cheap goods, stolen tech, you name it. This deal's supposed to address some of that, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled. The left's already saying it's not enough, but they'd complain if we got free egg rolls with every trade agreement. The stock market's optimistic, though, with energy stocks like Vistra and Constellation jumping last week. The catch? China's pushing hard in tech, especially AI, and they've got the data to train their models fast. We can't let them outpace us there. It's a simple national security issue. Trump's team needs to make sure this deal doesn't just trade short-term wins for long-term headaches. Keep American innovation first, always. This 4th of July, as we wave the stars and stripes, let's think about economic independence. Our founders didn't bow to foreign powers, and neither should we. A strong trade deal could mean more jobs and a stronger America. Here's hoping it delivers. Here's a story that's got the left in a tizzy. ICE agents arrested Andrea Velez, a U.S. citizen in Los Angeles last week, claiming she was on her way to work. Turns out it was a mix-up, but the outrage machine's in overdrive. Look, I support ICE doing their job. Secure the border, deport illegals, but snatching up citizens? That's a bad look. We need precision, not chaos. The details are murky here. Velez says she was targeted unfairly, and the left's calling it proof of ICE overreach. I get it. Nobody wants to feel like they're in a police state. But let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Illegal immigration's a real problem, and ICE is on the front lines. Mistakes can happen, but we can't let one error derail the mission to protect our borders. What's frustrating is the double standard. When illegals get caught, the left cries human rights. When a citizen gets nabbed by mistakes, it's abolish ICE. How about we focus on fixing the system? Better training, clearer protocols, that's the answer, not defunding the people keeping our country safe. On this 4th of July, let's celebrate the rule of law, one of the pillars of our independence. Our founders fought for a nation where laws protect citizens, not chaos. ICE needs to clean up its act, but let's keep supporting the mission to secure America's borders. Next up, the Supreme Court handed conservatives a win last week, siding with South Carolina in their campaign to defund Planned Parenthood. Look, I'm pro-life. I know a lot of you are too. Taxpayer dollars shouldn't be funding abortions, period. The ruling's a step toward making sure money aligns with our values. South Carolina's been fighting this for years, arguing they should control how state funds are spent. Planned Parenthood and the left are crying foul, saying it's about access to health care. But let's cut through the noise. There are plenty of clinics that don't perform abortions. Nobody's denying women health care. We're just saying don't make us pay for something we morally oppose. The court's decision could set a precedent for other states to follow. That's huge for the pro-life movement, which has been gaining ground since Roe v. Wade got overturned. But the left's not backing down without a fight. They're already planning legal challenges and protest. This battle's far from over. As we celebrate the 4th, this story reminds us of the liberty to stand up for what we believe in. Our founders fought for a nation where we could live by our conscience, and this ruling's a nod to that. Let's keep pushing for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, especially for the unborn. All right, let's lighten things up. Joey Chestnut, the king of competitive eating, is back for the 2025 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest today on July 4th. This guy's a national treasure, scarfing down hot dogs like it's his job, which I guess it is. After some drama last year, he's back to defend his title, and I'm rooting for him to crush it. For those who don't know, Chestnut's been dominating this Coney Island tradition for years. The guy's a machine. Last time he competed, he downed 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's American exceptionalism right there. The contest is a 4th of July staple, and having Chestnut back feels like the universe is right again. I say it's pure Americana. It's about fun, competition, and celebrating our freedom to eat 70 hot dogs if we really want to. Plus, it's a boost for local business and tourism. Who's not smiling watching this guy go to town on some Franks? Speaking of the 4th, this contest is peak Independence Day. Loud, proud, and a little ridiculous, our founders probably didn't envision hot dog eating contests, but they fought for our right to enjoy life's quirky moments. So here's to Joey Chestnut, and may he stuff his face for freedom. On July 3rd, Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, announced the termination of temporary protected status for Haiti, effective September 2, 2025. This program let Haitians stay in the U.S. due to instability back home, but Noem says it's time to end it. I'm with her. TPS was meant to be temporary, not backdoor to permanent residency. Haiti's been a mess, no question. Political chaos, natural disasters, you name it. But extending TPS forever just encourages more illegal immigration. We've got to prioritize American citizens and enforce our laws. The left's already up in arms, saying it's heartless, but what about the heart of our own communities struggling under the weight of unchecked immigration? The termination gives Haitians a grace period for sorting things out, which is fair, but we can't keep kicking the can down the road. Immigration policy needs to be about what's best for America and not what makes us feel good. Noem's taking heat, but she's making the tough calls, and I respect that. This 4th of July, let's celebrate the sovereignty our founders fought for. Independence means making hard choices to protect our nation, even when the left calls it mean. Here's to a stronger, more secure America on this 4th of July. Here's a story that's got conservatives all fired up. Texas is pushing hard to expand its border wall, and Governor Greg Abbott announcing new funding and construction plans on June 30th. The state's pouring millions into building more barriers along the Rio Grande, and I say it's about time. Securing our border is priority number one, and Texas is stepping up where the feds have dragged their feet. Abbott's plan includes not just walls, but also increased patrols and tech-like surveillance drones. The numbers don't lie. Illegal crossings have strained Texas communities for years, from the hospitals to their schools. The left's calling it a waste of money, but what's the cost of open borders? Crime, drugs, and stretched resources, that's what. Texas is showing the rest of the country how to put America first by protecting its own citizens. Of course, the usual suspects are crying about humanity and diversity, but let's get real. A nation without borders isn't a nation at all. Texas isn't saying no to legal immigration, they're saying come in the right way. This expansion could set a model for the other border states, and I'm hoping they follow suit. Build it high, build it strong, and keep America safe. On this Independence Day, this story is a nod to our independence and the right to protect our homeland. Our founders fought for a sovereign nation, and Texas is carrying that torch. Here's to walls that work and a country that stands tall. Wrapping things up, let's circle back to the Iran situation. On June 27th, the Senate shot down a Democrat-led resolution to limit Trump's ability to take military action against Iran without Congress's approval. Good call, Senate Republicans. The president needs room to act when threats like Iran pop off. We don't need bureaucrats slowing down our defense. Democrats are pushing this war powers angle, saying Congress should have more say. But let's be honest, when missiles are flying, you don't have time for a committee meeting. Trump's shown he's not afraid to hit hard, and that's what keeps our enemies guessing. The left's just mad they can't control him. That said, it's not a blank check. Oversight's important, but tying the president's hand in a crisis is a recipe for disaster. Iran's still reeling from those strikes that obliterated their nuclear program, and we need to keep the pressure on, not let up because of some Senate vote. On this 4th of July, this story is a reminder of why we celebrate. A strong, independent nation that doesn't bow to threats. Our founders trusted leaders to protect us, and today we need that same resolve. Here's to keeping America safe and free. And that's a wrap, folks. Those are your top 10 news stories from June 27th to July 4th, 2025. From Iran's nuclear program getting smoked to Texas building up the border, it's been a wild week, as usual. As we celebrate the 4th of July, let's raise a glass to our freedom, our strength, and the values that make this country the greatest on earth. Thanks for tuning in to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude Podcast. I'm Nathan, just a dude keeping it real. Catch you on the next episode. Until then, stay free, stay proud, and God bless America.